And we are back. What's going on, GG? I am Doogie. He is GG. This is Backchecks, Beers and Banter. Back for another episode, a special one because we are live for the first time with Backchecks, Beers and Banter. What's happening?
I'm all cozied up in the corner. I've got a beer. I'm feeling pretty good. I've been, looking after my toddler all day. Things are going well. Ready to talk some hockey. I think I'm doing better than you, mate. You're a bit under the weather, eh?
Yeah, I'm pumping the cold and flus at the moment, the day and night ones, flat out, to try and keep me buzzing. I'm sucking on lozenges, and I've got no beer tonight, so it's I've got I've got a coffee, so it's Backchecks coffee and banter for me.
Well, I've got the beer. I've got it's an Aftermath double IPA. Beautiful design there. 9.1%. So between the two of us, we're each having a 4.5%, mate. So
yeah,
I'm happy to help out the team.
I'm worried about you. I don't know if you're going to survive the entire show.
Yeah, I'm not a heavy drinker, so we'll see how we go. I might just have a sip. We'll see how we go.
You actually might make a what am I trying to say here? You actually might make more sense after 9.1%.
Yeah, that's terrifying. Phil Taylor, yes, Thai and beer. Is there a better combo, better culinary combo than Thai and beer? I like a beer and a curry as well. It's pretty good. It's pretty good, Phil. Yeah, mutton and beef curry and a beer.
Yeah, 100%. All right. I don't mind. I know it's not beer, but I love a wine with some pasta or something. That goes down all right.
Yeah. Yeah, this isn't the wine Backchecks and Banter podcast, mate. That's
I know. I should create another one like wingers, wine, and something. I don't know. So for those who have tuned in, this is Backchecks, Beers and Banter. So this was the first podcast / show that we launched with Hockey Hype Australia, and with the success of weekly wraparound, which was Gordon's idea, and we've decided to go live with Backchecks, Beers and Banter and see what reception we get with this, because this is just a bit more laid back. Not that the weekly wraparound was too serious, GG, but this is more of an overall hockey show, not so much just a recap of the A-Dub weekend.
Yep. So today, topics to discuss, as we can see if you're watching, Adam Johnson, the under-18, under-20 teams, which were announced, Olympic team for the Youth Olympics, the AIHL schedule, Bob Turner, who has joined the AIHL, AWIHL, NHL recap, Nicholas Backstrom, and yeah, that's about it. So let's kick things off with Adam Johnson, Doogie. A tragic event in England. Former Pittsburgh Penguin, of course. Take us through your thoughts.
You don't want to see anyone. We haven't done an episode since it happened, and you don't want to see anyone basically go to work, because it's his job. You don't want to see anyone go to work and then not go home. And the whole incident, I don't recommend anyone looking up the footage. I didn't actually look up the footage. It was messaged through to me, and then it automatically played when I opened it up. It's not great. So our thoughts go out with Adam Johnson's family, his friends, and everyone involved with the Nottingham Panthers. Just absolutely tragic. It actually, when I heard the news and then I've seen the footage, it was a bit of it sort of took me back to the AI finals and that incident that we had, where you just didn't know what was happening, player laid out on the ice. But yeah, just absolutely tragic, and we don't want to see that in hockey. And I think it's opened up a wider discussion now about neck guards and all different safety features that players are more than likely going to be wearing. Maybe not now, but in the future.
Yeah, and we've seen some teams already. The Pittsburgh Penguins have made it mandatory for their AHL affiliate team for wearing the neck protection. It's being rolled out in England as well. So yeah, see what happens in Australia. IHA put a statement out. I think that strongly encouraging players to wear the protective gear available. A player like Patrick Laine has worn like the neck protection his entire career. It's not something that you would necessarily notice. It doesn't stand out or anything necessarily. So the technology is there. So that's thoughts of course with Adam Johnson and his family and friends and teammates, that people, everyone that kind of witnessed those scenes.
Yeah, and also the other player that was involved. I think it was Matt. I've forgotten his last name. Thoughts go out to Matt as well. Having to live with that now for the rest of his life. I think Gordon's frozen.
Yeah, sorry. My internet is absolutely woeful. Sorry. But yeah, no. It was nice to see the minute of silence too in the AWIHL games on the weekend, just recognizing Adam Johnson. Nottingham Forest, they did something, commemorated him as well during their match. So it's nice to see not only the global hockey community get behind and show their support, but also sports at large. Yeah.
Yeah, Matt Petgrave. His last name just eluded me, but yes, Matt's got to live with that now. So, thoughts go out to Matt as well. Thanks, Graham.
Yeah. But moving on.
Before we move on, just in case people are unaware about this podcast, is that Gordon might actually get up and just disappear and make some food or something. That's how we roll with the Backchecks, beers, and banter.
Yeah, I mean, when you've got like a toddler just under 3, you don't get the luxury of spending time by yourself. So she's playing happily away at the moment. Fingers crossed. We'll see how long that lasts.
But some big news for the national teams with the under 18 women's and under 20 men's teams getting announced recently. Any surprises for yourself, Gordon?
Under 18 women's. No, I think that looks like a strong lineup. I think Katie Meyer is an interesting addition. I think she was getting her PR and I don't know how that works with whether you need to be a citizen to play, but I think she's a good reserve player in the reserves. The goaltending, going back to Amelia Knott, is going to be a big part of that team. Let's see how she goes. This is her debut season in the AWIHL, so it'll be good for her to get some experience under her belt as well before I kind of join in the team. But yeah, there's some talented players in that under 18 group. A lot of people, the way that Tamara Jones, the coach Tamara Jones, used to run it was it was a bit of it wasn't just a one and done tournament. It was part of a program. So you would go in, maybe 14, 15, you'd have a group, of 4 or 5 players that would enter and kind of graduate through the program. And she did such a good job mentoring those young women and helping them to, be a part of that team and care for them. So yeah, it's I think we see as a similar thing. I think Remy Harvey will kind of continue that kind of tradition.
There's a few changes. Obviously, it's going to happen when players age out of selection. But I always think when it comes to national teams, anyone who puts their hand up to play for Australia, it's the biggest accolade you can have as a hockey player here, to play for your country and represent your country. And when you've got to basically pay your own way, hats off to anyone who puts their hand up for selection and gets selected.
Yeah, and some of these players, like I know in talking with Tamra in previous years, like with some of these players, it's their first time overseas, and sometimes without family, so it's a pretty huge experience for them. So it's good to have that, to see that growth in players. Someone like Courtney Mahoney, you could see her growth up until last year when she aged out of the tournament, and others. It's a really good program, and of course the under-18 women's team are the highest ranked national team for hockey, men's and women's. They are playing in Division 1B, so top 20 teams in the world.
Yeah, it's unreal. I was mentioning that to someone recently. They were talking to me about hockey when they found out that I'm into hockey and cover hockey here, because it's not a major sport. I mentioned that to them about the top 20. It's unreal.
Yeah.
But for me, on that under 18s team, one that stands out is Georgia Watts. So I'm keen to see how Georgia Watts goes. Keen to see Lucy York out there as well, and Olivia Gargano will be interesting to watch as well. Yes, because Olivia's been picked in. We'll get to the Olympic team. Olivia's in the Olympic team as well. So yeah, it'd be interesting to get a look at a few of these players.
Yeah, I agree. I think so too, and interesting to see these players put in positions where, top line, top six kind of opportunities. I noticed with Georgia Watts, I don't know if it was just easing her in, but she was kind of on the third line for Brisbane in that the opening weekend. So someone like her is a prime candidate to really take a central role and key role on that team.
And the other team was the under 20s men's roster, another team that is doing really well. So there's a few changes to this team as well. Obviously, players, as we said before, aged out, all that sort of stuff. What stands out for you, Gordon, with this team? I'm actually, after watching the AJ and a bit of the North Stars, Ryan Dutchman, I'm really keen to see Ryan on the national stage.
Yeah, another one is a big fella, Julian Friedrich. Is gonna be a good one to watch. Cameron Hughes, Dmitry Kuleshov, or Ivan Kuleshov as well. I think the goalies, Matus Trinka, you saw he's gone overseas. He's playing overseas at the moment, and Matthew Montgomery during the he was played for the Sabres in the AJIHL tournament, and he was really good in goal for them. And they ended up upsetting, I think, the Sun Devils with him and net, and he was key to shutting it down. They went down 2-0, and I think they came back and won it 5-2. So Matthew Montgomery, he's like third string goaltender on the Newcastle North Stars, or was this past season. So I'm really interested to see how he goes backing up Matus Trinka.
Yeah, I agree. It's just really cool now that we've had the AJ, and you get to see these players perform in the AJ, and now they get selected for these teams. And you have, if you watch the AJ, you have an understanding now of these players and what they're capable of. And we obviously know Matus, how well Matus performs. So yeah, it's really cool to see these players that you see at the AJ and stuff.
Yeah, and a couple of Brisbane Lightning players, Henri Dalgidi, Mikko Rippon from the blue line, Sasha Rapchak. I think Rapchak and Dalgidi, they're both playing for the Atlanta Mad Hatters or something. I didn't actually look this up beforehand, but I kind of remember them both going over. So yeah, so that's going to be interesting to see how they've grown their games.
Yeah, not only that too, like it's players that know each other. So either playing together or played national team before, played AJ, all that sort of stuff. So they should go in fairly confident and fairly well gelled.
Yeah. Anything else you wanted to mention on that men's under 20? Of course, they'll be participating in Division 2, 2B next next tournament. Anything else you want to mention?
No, not really. They're I really hope they go well after their last tournament, winning it well. Let's hopefully they can have another tournament exactly the same.
Yeah, and they kind of they should have won the year before. I think they were like blowing teams out before, like 27-0 and 19-0, and then they had a challenge and nothing had prepared them previously in the tournament for that. And they ended up, I think that was Mexico, the Mexico tournament. So yeah, it'll be interesting to see them kind of have that strength of competition, because they don't belong. They don't belong in Division 3. You're not learning a ton blowing teams out by double digits.
Yeah, absolutely. You're having fun, but you're probably not learning a lot.
Yeah.
But if you've got any anything, if you've got any comments, chuck them in there so we can have a look on the screen about any of these teams. Let us know.
Yep. Women's 3 versus 3 for the 2024 Gang 1 Winter Youth Olympic Games. So the team that was announced was Tara Baker, Hannah Cryan, Gwendolyn Ellis, Olivia Gogano, Grace Callum-Bocas, Jasmine Mayer, Johanna Meissner, Katie Meyer, Poppy Nooney, Sophie Reeder, Annika Schmitz, Ellen Schmitz, and Georgia Watts. What stands out to you, Doogie?
I'm actually looking forward to seeing Grace Callum-Bocas.
She was good on the blue line for Adelaide in their first couple of games. I'm looking forward to seeing how she goes in this next series against Sydney this weekend. What stood out to you about Grace?
Well, I've seen Grace play before, and only very young, but looks to have a big future. Along with a lot of these players, obviously, that are in this roster. But that was one of the ones that stood out for me that I'm excited to see on this sort of stage. And also Hannah Cryan as well is another one for me.
Yeah, no, good call. I think someone like Grace Callum-Bocas, you look at the D line in Adelaide. Kirsty Venus is unreal. You've got Maya Tupper who brings skill and experience. You've got Tiffany Venning. So you've got three for someone like Callum-Bocas or Trapolino, I think was made her debut a couple of weeks ago. You've got ones that you can learn from. So some good experience. So yeah, I'm excited to see Callum-Bocas. I think same with Georgia Watts. Excited to see her. Sophie Reeder, she scored her first AWHL goal last season for the Perth Inferno. I'm excited to see her in a proper spot. She's got a good shot on her, Sophie.
Yeah, I was just about to say that, Sophie Reeder. That was another one. When you watch the A-Dub enough, you see the young talent, and even if you're not sort of watching it regularly, you only have to talk to people who have been around and involved in hockey for a long time, and they'll tell you that every year the talent is getting better and better and better. And you can see that when you watch the A-Dub. You can see that a lot of these young players are coming into the A-Dub at 15 years old, 14 years old, and they're looking like they're capable. And when I speak to people like with interviews, could be Shana Godfrey or someone like that, I ask them the question about how much has the A-dub changed, and it's one of the things that they say is the talent that's coming through now with the young girls. It's just unbelievable and getting better every year.
Yeah, no, I agree. So that's a tournament to look out for next year.
And that's
Yep.
And that's really exciting. To have a team at the Youth Olympics.
Yeah, 100%, absolutely. Christian Knott, yes. Youth Olympic Games is going to be exciting to watch. Yeah, I'm hoping we get access to the streams or something. So the time shouldn't be too bad either if it's over in Gang 1. So it should be kind of reasonable-ish times for us here in Australia.
Yeah, it's the world stage. It's, as they say, the big bright lights and all that sort of stuff. So let's showcase Australian hockey.
Yeah. Next point, AIHL schedule. Anything stand out to you that was announced obviously a week and a half ago, or I don't know, time is a circle and weird. I don't know what day it is.
I think it caught everyone by surprise.
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't think people were expecting it to come out so quick.
No, I mean the season, it feels like just a couple of weeks ago that the season finished. Of course, it's like 3 months ago now, or 2.5 months ago. But yes, more games, Doogie.
Yeah, and more games is always good. More hockey is good hockey, as far as I'm concerned. Still a 2-conference system, and finals will be played in Melbourne, which sort of makes sense to me. Like, I know I live in Victoria, close to Melbourne, but it's the best facilities we've got in the country. Once Canberra gets built and Adelaide, then we can look around, obviously, because those facilities will be sort of world class as well. But yeah, I'm not surprised that it's in Melbourne again.
Yeah, no, it's. I mean, the Alexandria ISU is right near me. I was hoping that they would have the AIHL finals there, but we'll put in a bid. We'll put in another bid. Yeah. No,
yeah. What did you take out of the? What did you take out of this schedule being released?
Look, I haven't dialed down deep into the kind of intricacies of the schedule. Last season, what I do know, last season there were a few teams. I know, for example, the Sydney Bears had a weekend or two off when they didn't have any games, and then the Melbourne Ice had a 3-game weekend, one weekend. So that doesn't seem to be the case in the next schedule. It looks like teams are playing every week, whether that's once or twice. So I think that's good. And yeah, no 3-game weekends. We had a. Sorry, yeah.
Yeah, no, go on.
We had a joke that if you had like a 3-game weekend, like, do you get suspended like for one of the games? Do you just drop the gloves in the last 10 minutes intentionally? Just being like, I can't be bothered flying out tomorrow to some. Yeah, I don't know. It's a tough one. That's one for the philosophers.
So you reckon play in Melbourne, drop the gloves in the last period, not fly to Adelaide, and stay in Melbourne, play the Sunday game?
Yeah. Yeah.
How would you go? How would you go dropping the gloves, you reckon?
Me?
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Like I can take them off pretty easily.
Well, you nearly suited up for an AI game.
Oh yeah, it's right. Yeah, it's the 2022 season. The Ice Dogs were severely short of players and were messaging asking if I could just put gear on as a last resort, just so that they had the player requirement. And thank the Lord that did not end up having to happen. So
it'd be like the movie Goon, though. You just come straight onto the ice, drop the gloves.
Yeah, except I'm not I'm not. What's his name? I would just get my butt kicked. So, yeah. So no. So AIH. Oh yeah. It's what
Yeah,
comes after dropping the gloves. It's the problem. That's true, Phil. That's very true.
I've seen Phil in the media scrum with the NHL. Phil's not afraid to drop the gloves and get in there.
No, he's muscling people out for shots and catch him on the concourse during the at Rod Laver. He was
throwing
good.
elbows.
Yeah. No, so yeah, definitely. I wouldn't be a goon. I don't think I'd be a very unsuccessful goon. But yeah, Bob Turner.
Hang on, it's 15 home, 15
wrong,
away
mate.
games, 150
yeah.
regular season games.
Sounds about right.
Yep.
And it still starts about the same time and finishes the same time. Like starts end of April, finishes mid August. So
first game of the season, there's 4 because they all start at the same time.
it's just like the NHL. You'll get like 16 games played in the NHL, and they'll all start at 7 p.m. Eastern time.
Yeah,
it's beautiful.
Yeah, it's lovely.
Yeah, so during the intermission, you can switch to
CBR Brave and Newcastle are the first game on the schedule, so I'm guessing they're kicking off the season.
That'll be a good matchup.
Yeah, 100%. All right, Bob Turner. Yes.
So the AIHL put out an announcement a couple of weeks ago that Bob Turner has been is on board. As I understand, it's a paid role, which is pretty huge for the AIHL. It'll be interesting to see what sort of scope or he has to be able to do stuff. But I was talking with someone and about Bob Turner. Bob Turner, he came in to the Canberra Cannons. They used to play like basketball down in Canberra, and when he came, they were limited. The place where they were playing was limited to like 80 spectators, and by the time he left, he'd grown that club. Was really good with sponsorship and corporate partnerships, promotion. And by the time that he left, Canberra Cannons were playing out of the AIS and getting thousands of people on average to their games. He was headhunted by the Sydney Kings, I think back in the 90s, late 90s, mid to late 90s. Turned the Kings into one of the hottest tickets in town. Turned them around, and from the place where they were playing out of to now, you can see their success now. So this is huge for the AIHL, and I think just from the idea of someone coming in from the outside that knows what it takes to be successful, to build a successful kind of a program and to make money, to generate revenue.
Yeah, it's a massive announcement. It's really exciting to have someone like Bob Turner on board with the AIHL. The resume speaks for itself, and hopefully, with all the connections and things like that within industry, Bob can tap into that as well, and really help push the sport here. It's really, really exciting, and well done to the AIHL for getting it over the line.
Yeah. I think, definitely the AIHL have done. It's a massive coup. It's a massive coup, and I think for Bob Turner, from the rumors I've heard, it's like this is his last challenge before kind of retiring. So, a massive to get him involved in the sport. It's really encouraging.
What I found really interesting in the announcement that the AIHL made, there was quotes there from Bob, and he mentioned, and it's something that I always say to people when I'm talking about hockey here, and people say, "Oh, is there hockey here?" And I say, "Yeah, there's hockey down at the Docklands here in Melbourne. There's national leagues and teams all over Australia." And I always say to them, if you come once, you'll come again, and you'll keep coming to games because it has everything that Australians love. And it was something that Bob mentioned in the announcement. He was at the AIHL finals as a guest of the board, and he said he was blown away by skill, speed, physicality, and intensity of the game. It was like watching rugby league on ice, but much quicker. And it's what I always say to people, and I'm so glad that Bob said it, and it was put into the announcement as well, because it's one thing that once Australians find the sport here and they see it, they'll be hooked on it.
Yeah, I agree. And I think Bob will be all about kind of promoting the game, getting it out there so that people don't have to search for hockey and kind of come across it by accident. So I think it has the potential to impact not only AIHL, but all of hockey in this country.
Yep.
Next one, AWIHL. Hit me. What have you got?
It's been a good start to the season. We've got 4 games this weekend: Adelaide, Sydney, Melbourne, Brisbane. If you haven't checked out the A-Dub, check it out. Get out to a rink, watch it on the stream. These women are highly talented, and as we said before, getting better and better every season. Melbourne Ice are sitting on top at the moment. They sort of look like the team to beat this season. Got a stacked lineup, but round 3 this week, and get out and watch it, or watch it on the stream before the season's finished and you miss out.
Yeah, a couple of intriguing matchups. So Adelaide versus Sydney is a 2020 Grand Final rematch. So that'll be a good game that being played in Adelaide, and Melbourne travel up to Brisbane for a pair of games up there, which will be huge. Sydney, bottom of the standings at the moment, but if results go their way, they could be as high as second. So, of course, it's early days, but yeah, I think I can't see last season. You had Sydney and Melbourne were kind of just above the competition all season. I think it's going to be a little bit closer this year. I still expect Melbourne to be ahead on points at the end of the season, but I don't think it's going to be by like 20 points or something.
And if you tune into the stream, you're going to get a couple of very professional commentators across the weekend. Isn't that right, GG?
I thought we were on, mate. I thought we were on.
Yeah, nah. That's who I'm talking about. Yeah, us two.
We're
going to be on.
Yep. Gotcha.
We're going to be on the commentary. How professional will we be, Gordon?
Oh, very. Yeah, I tell you what, it's gonna be nice to do the commentary with someone, because doing it solo is pretty brutal. So
well, you're the pro.
Yeah.
You're the pro in all of this.
Yeah. That's terrifying. That's a terrifying thought. But the good thing is that I mean, we've watched all the games this season, so that's helpful. And they should be really entertaining games. I'm particularly looking forward to. I don't know if Adelaide have their imports in yet, but I'm looking forward to seeing more of Maya Tupper for Adelaide. She had a really impressive debut. Another debutante. She's not like a 15-year-old debutante. 31. Alison Carlisle on Brisbane. She's one to watch. She is a real steadying presence on the blue line and chips in offensively. She was paired with Katrina Rapchuk on the top pairing, and another one for the Lightning, Emma Wuthrich, who scored a hat trick, I think, in the Sunday game a couple of weeks ago. She is a really good, knows where to be as a center, and fit in straight away. So. Those are a few I'm looking forward to seeing.
Yeah, had a really good start to the season, Wuthrich.
Yeah.
Just make sure that you've got your laptop plugged in and charged, mate. We don't need any batteries running out. I like the scissor lift.
No, yeah, that was pretty brutal. That was pretty brutal. My goodness. Yeah. Nuts. Yeah, I'll make sure everything's charged. Last time I couldn't get my printer working, and I was trying to print out I'd made up my own game sheets because I didn't get sent any. So made up my own game sheets and couldn't print them. So had them on Katie's laptop next to me, which kept on the screen would go off and I'd have to re-enter the password during play. I do not want to repeat that experience again. So we'll see how we go.
NHL recap. What are we talking about here?
I'm wearing my Kings hat, not my Leafs hat.
Well, we've gone 2 in a row. So I've got the Flames beanie on. We've gone back to back, so we're back. We're
contenders, baby.
Absolutely. We're just got to figure out what we're doing with Huberdeau, and then we'll be right.
You're only 29th. You're only 29th.
Depends on which way you look at the standings.
Yeah. Oh yeah. No, if it's golf, you're fourth.
You're on the Kings wagon, are you? Tonight.
They're fifth. I remember saying to someone at the NHL Global Series that I thought that the Kings were a top 10 team this year in the NHL. And I got looked at like I was out of my mind. But if you're watching, person who I didn't get your name, who's laughing now?
Well, they've gone out and just beaten the Golden Knights 4-1.
Cam Talbot. How good is Cam Talbot? He had I think there was a clause in his contract that he was going to receive some performance bonuses if he played 10 games. And to be honest, after last season, I thought when he signed, I wasn't sure if he'd get to that 10-game mark because Phoenix Copley was so good. I thought if they're going to start the backup, just put in big save Dave Riddick. But Talbot has kind of seized control of the net early on.
Yeah, he has. They're in a really good spot, LA. Everything's sort of coming together for them quite nicely.
Yeah,
and that was that. Their goalie situation was. It was interesting to start this before the season started of who they'd go to or who'd stand up and take that position. Some teams are even looking to run 3 goalies these days and try and make it work.
Yeah, I mean the benefit of Talbot is that, and I think it was mentioned at one of the press conferences at the NHL Global Series. I'm just going to keep on dropping the press conferences at the NHL Global Series. I don't have many flexes, but Talbot has played for McClellan before. So Talbot played for McClellan in Edmonton, so knows kind of McClellan systems, which makes a difference, and also has there's some familiarity and some trust there. So you look at LA. They're not afraid to play their veterans. So yeah, it's good luck for the rest of the season. It's a long season, obviously, but early signs are good. And can I just say one more thing? Sorry, can I just say, I think everyone in Australia should be cheering for. You can do what you like. Actually, I'm not going to tell people what to do, but I think people should be cheering on LA and Arizona as much as they can, because if both teams were really bad throughout the season, they could easily go back and say, "Hey, our preseason didn't get us off to a good start. We are not traveling to all the way over to Australia again. That was a ridiculous move. Yeah, get out of here." The better that they do, the better it is for us to attract big teams to the global series. And I always remember LA when they first went to China, the year that they first went to play in China, they won the Stanley Cup. And LA since then has been really big about taking these opportunities to grow their global brand. So, I'm cheering for LA and Arizona out of concern for Australian hockey.
Well, you won't tell people what to do, but I will. So subscribe to our YouTube. That's the only thing I'll tell people to do. But speaking of the other Australia's other team, the Arizona Coyotes, when we were after we last recorded the Backchecks, Beers and Banter, this happened.
JJ Moser leading the rush over the line. It goes. Cooley is in. Cooley scores! Logan Cooley in a beauty. First in the National Hockey League for 92.
So my boy Logan Cooley, Minnesota Golden Gopher, gets his first goal in the NHL. How good is that?
It's pretty good. It's good on him. He's got a bright future. I've seen the memes. What's that meme with what's the guy from his name escapes me. The wrestling guy, the guy that used to run like the God. But anyways, it's this meme where he's like tearing up during an interview and he's going like cut it. And the Arizona Coyotes
Vince McMahon.
Yeah, Vince McMahon, sorry. The Arizona Coyotes social media team had put like a logo of the Montreal Canadiens on his head, and we're like, when you don't draft Logan Cooley #1, and it's just so yeah, I think Logan Cooley is just an outstanding talent that's going to have a really successful career.
Yeah, there was a lot of people that said he was the #1 in that draft, even though it didn't happen.
Montreal, they go way off board with their first round draft picks. I'm just saying, like both ethically and also like skill wise, like they do some weird picks. There was a video that was circling around. I don't know if you've seen it, of like the guy, basically pushing Juraj Slafkovsky as this is why we should take him. This is why he's great. And it's basically him just talking about all these non-hockey traits and trying to sell it as being hockey traits. Like, it's so bizarre. And I'm like, they have missed on so many first-round picks, the Canadiens. I really don't know what's going on there.
I can't say much. We took Mark Jankowski. That was way off the board.
Yeah. Is he still in Pittsburgh these days, or what's he doing?
Last I heard, he was cut.
Yeah. Well,
but Arizona.
Sorry, yep.
Yeah, what were you going to say? We go on.
I was just going to say, yeah, the Leafs have had their fair share, so I really shouldn't be saying anything. But at least we don't tend to screw up top 5 picks.
So Arizona, they're sitting 4th in the Central at the moment, 6-5-1 record. I really hope that the wheels don't fall off. They're in front of the Wild at the moment, and the Blues. I don't know what the Blues are going to do. They're a bit up and down. I think the Blues, they sort of can't find a rhythm. I really hope Arizona don't fall off the perch.
Yeah. It's going to be. I don't think anyone expected them to make the playoffs this season. Really, realistically, we'll see what happens. I do like their coach Andre Torridi. Seems like a great coach. They do have some vets. Jason Zucker should be coming back soon. He's a big presence there. So yeah, we'll see what happens.
Last point we got on there. I chucked this one on here. Nicholas Backstrom. Doesn't look like Backstrom will be coming back to the NHL this year and possibly walking away from the sport due to health reasons. There's a lot of talk about Backstrom, and I wanted to put this on here, Gordon, where you rate Backstrom in terms of his era. Is he the most underrated player of his era?
I hate these questions. Hey, I hate these questions because it's so subjective. Like, depending what circles you're in, it's a good question though. It's just I don't know how to answer that one. Backstrom, for me, like as a huge hockey fan all my life, Backstrom was a big part of that. Like, Backstrom and Ovechkin, just a golden connection, which, up until a few years ago was, it was one of the best connections in hockey. I don't know. I mean, he's got 1,000 points. I'm just looking up now. He's got 1,033 points.
Drop us
Does
a
he
comment.
make the
if you're watching, drop us a comment. What do you think about Backstrom? Underrated of his era? Had an unreal career.
How do I put a comment in? Backstrom was a sensational playmaker. Oh, there we go. Oh, mate. The hockey hype Australia just in the chat. Just echoing my comments there. No, but yeah, unreal playmaker. You look at the 2009-10 season, which was like his third year in the league. 101 points, 33 goals, 68 assists. He never really hit that 30. That was the only time he hit 30 goals in his career. Barely scratched 20. But he hovered around the kind of 50 to 60, almost 70 assist kind of target. So I don't know if he's a first ballot Hall of Famer.
Yeah, that was my other question. Is he a first ballot Hall of Famer or not? And a lot of people say he is. A lot of people say
he's no Ted Donato. Andrew Egan. So yeah, I don't know if he makes the Hall of Fame. I think he probably will eventually. Yeah, but I'm not sure first ballot is a bit of a reach.
Yeah, I'd love to see it, but I agree with you. I don't think it'll happen.
Yeah. Yeah, some big. Oh, what's going on here? Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear.
Okay, my computer is frozen, so
that's perfect for this podcast.
It's perfect.
This podcast was anything goes, mate.
Yeah. No, I was going to say that there was some other big injury news with Frederik Andersen. He's listed as being out indefinitely with a blood clotting issue. So bad news for Frederik Andersen. I hope he's okay. He was really thriving in Carolina when he was healthy. It's nice to play behind a team that actually plays defense. Couple of former Leaf goalies are really going through a tough time. I don't want to compare what Jack Campbell was going through to Frederik Andersen, but yeah, it's a bit depressing. You want these players to go on and succeed and do well.
There's some talk about Leafs and Flames maybe doing some deals, possibly. There's a bit of chatter about that.
I mean, they're traditionally good trade partners. If you go back to Lanny McDonald, the Dougie Gilmour trade was that with Calgary, the Dion Phaneuf trade, of course, sending Matt Stajan. I loved Matt Stajan irrationally. I loved him a lot, and it devastated me. Dougie Gilmour, there he is, beautiful. It devastated me when Matt Stajan left the Leafs in the Phaneuf trade. But yeah, they have done deals before. I think they've done some smaller deals as well. I think David Riddick, that was a deal with Calgary, wasn't it? Yeah, so I can see them. I can see them chatting, and Brad Treliving obviously knows people in the Flames still, and I don't know if that makes the deal more plausible or not. If people are hesitant to do a deal, if you know the organization well, but who knows?
You can take Huberto for 10.5 million if you want.
God. That would be such a Toronto thing to do, right? Such a Toronto thing to do. Andrew's got an essay for us in the comments. DHL finals round of 16, not far away, boys. Vitkovic having a nightmare season in Czechia, sacked their coach, called up Ringers last home game to cover gastro outbreak, but still alive in the continental competition. Oh, Andrew with the goods. We've got to get Andrew on the show.
Yeah, he is one of the biggest.
Get Andrew on.
One of the biggest CHL fans in Australia, and probably the only CHL fan that I know in Australia. So that makes him the biggest.
How did the Ringers go, Andrew, in the Ringers in the last home game to cover the gastro outbreak? Like, you would love to see as someone that makes the team or that played, kind of go on to play professionally, and that would be such a good story. I remember, like, this is football. Am I allowed to talk about English football, European football?
You can talk about whatever you want.
Great. So the Wickham Wanderers.
It's your show, Gordon. You can talk about whatever you want.
So there's a team in England. I think it was the Wickham Wanderers. They put out a like a WhatsApp message or some sort of thing to be like, "Hey, we need a striker. Come down and try out." And this guy came down that was like this huge unit of a guy who came on and made the team and was like bagging like 2 goals a game or something in the 4th division or whatever it is of English football. It was like such a cool story. So I wonder if there's someone like that that Gastro was their big opening.
See that could have been you if the Ice Dogs had have given you a chance. There could have been hats on the ice.
Oh God, what could have been? What could have been, Doogie?
Instead, you're sitting here with me.
Sitting here with you. Oh God, this is better. This is better, mate. This is better. Anything else we want to chat about?
No, I think that's it, mate. I don't think we've got anything else. It's the thing with this podcast. If people haven't listened before, the previous episodes are on Spotify, Apple, iHeartRadio, etc., on YouTube as well. The old format before we had this nice, fresh, new look and layout. There's no regular time slot or schedule for this show. That's just whenever we want to jump on and talk and have a beer and have a laugh and hopefully interact with people now on the live stream in the comments. How are you going with that 9.1%?
I've had like about 30 mils, and I can already feel like a buzz. So yeah, I'm a cheap drunk, mate. I'm a very cheap drunk. So God, it's gonna be a good evening. Gonna have to finish the rest of this thing. You can't keep beer in the fridge overnight. It's just you can't do it. But no, going right there. As you were saying about the podcast, very laid back, very chill. I think I dropped a swear word on one of the previous episodes too. So if we end up doing that, apologies. But yeah, that may happen.
Yep. So we've got. Yeah, go on. You go.
Sorry, mate. I was going to say we've got weekly wraparound, which is going to be on Sunday. So make sure you tune into that. Well, I won't tell you what to do, but if you want, you can tune into that. And we've got head coach of the Perth Inferno, Graham Hyde, is going to come on because the Perth Inferno, they're not playing a game again. They watch all 4 other teams play for the second time in 3 weeks. So Coach Hyde is generously offered to come onto the show or agreed to come on the show. You've got some dirt on him, I think, Doogie, which helped him make the decision.
I hope he brings the heat, and he's probably watching now, possibly. He might even drop a comment. Looking forward to Graham coming on. I'll have an article I did with Graham too that'll come out at the end of this week over at hockeyhypeaustralia.com.au. So we're looking forward to having Graham on. I did joke around with him last night through messages that because I said to him, I'm looking forward to the banter in the comments directed at Graham. So I hope we get a bit of that on Sunday night. And he said to me, because he's Scottish, he said they probably won't understand him. So I said, we'll chuck on the captions, Gordon. So it makes it easier.
Yeah. No, yeah. His accent is pretty strong, but you can understand him.
Yeah, you can.
Yeah. But yeah, definitely tune in to watch that. It'll be interesting to have a chat. I was rewatching the Melbourne Ice Perth Inverno game earlier today. And one player who looked really good to me defensively is Georgia McClellan. Yeah, just great solid positioning. Little plays that you don't really notice until you watch it again afterwards. That denied a 2-on-1 or that set out the breakout for the offense going the other way. So it'll be interesting to get his thoughts on the games that this weekend, and also some team news from him as well if he's keen to share.
I reckon that's about it, mate. We've nearly hit the hour mark, which is ridiculous. Because when we started this podcast, before we went live, we said, half an hour to 40 minutes will be enough. And now it's nearly an hour. I think they're probably sick of us.
I'm sick of me, so I wouldn't blame them. But yeah, no, thanks for tuning in. We are, we have a lot of expenses that are out of pocket. If you would like to sponsor the show, that would be fantastic. Or sponsor any of our platforms, really, that would be fantastic, just to keep the lights on. We're trying to keep everything on our website ad free. We really hate those kind of banners and pop-ups that you get to generate revenue. So, but yeah, thank you for your support, for listening. Reach out if you'd like to sponsor the show.
Yeah, exactly. Why wouldn't you? Why wouldn't you want to be involved in the biggest ice hockey platform in the country? Hey? But that'll do it for us, yeah, Gordon?
Yep, that'll do it. Gonna finish my beer. Yep. Thank you very much.
8:30 Sunday night, Australian Eastern Daylight Time, weekly wraparound. We'll be live on Facebook and YouTube. Subscribe to the YouTube so you don't miss out on any alerts or anything. And that'll do us.
Sweet. Cheers.
See you on Sunday.
1